you are the continuation of the story of your ancestors.
This idea that your story doesn't begin with you, it's wild. I mean, how true is it? I mean, if you really take a minute to think about it, how often do we waste time from our lives trying to find ourselves? And meanwhile, the blueprint was sitting in our family tree the whole time.
I think it really developed later in life, but it did have its roots in the fact that as a child I was very imaginative.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved to tell stories. I loved to immerse my friends in the neighborhood in adventures, totally imaginary adventures, do world building as we would call it today. I didn't call it back then. But yeah, I was very imaginative. But in the Army, didn't have time to really write or really focus on that. But in 2013, my younger brother, died of ALS. And so that kind of inspired me to do my own little blog, which I called Augustine's Alley. And in that blog, I would just write on any topic that interested me: science, history, mathematics, religion, philosophy. And I would just kind of post online. And I really didn't care so much if people really read it. I mean, it did some posts did get picked up nationally, which was fine. But that's when I kind of started writing.
You don't realize how many questions you should have asked until the people who had the answers aren't here anymore. We're so busy chasing the next thing that we forget to slow down and take a minute where it counts. I think a lot of us start creating because something breaks, not because we're inspired, but because we're trying to make sense of something we can't fix. Like when Joseph lost his brother, it rearranges your priorities overnight.
A young Algonquin woman who lived in Quebec, Trois-Rivières, in the 1600s, named Marie Mate Aaguay, and she had this incredible story. Her life just happened to be very well documented. She was 22 years old. She was married to another Algonquin in about 1650, and they had two small children. And the Mohawks came up from New York, raided the settlement. Her husband was killed, and her children were kidnapped by the Mohawks and taken away, and she never saw them again.
Huh.
And so at 22, she basically lost everything that she had. Her whole family was gone. 5 years later, she married a French settler named Pierre Cauque. They became my ancestors. And then at the end of her life, when she died, just after she died at Trois-Rivières, the priest, the pastor of Trois-Rivières, wrote of her a very brief but beautiful eulogy. And he said, Marie Mate Aaguay lived a full life of dignity, respect, and love. A courageous and loving Algonquin woman. And so you can imagine what a beautiful statement what a life that she must have led from that time that she lost her first family all the way to the time that she passed away. To have someone write of her that she lived a life of dignity, respect, and love. I think any of us, if that's the only thing that they could say about us after we passed away, we would have lived a successful life. So as you can imagine, there's this whole drama of her life right there, and it became a good subject for a story. And so that became the genesis of Old Grandmother's Tree, because I decided to retell her story.
We're trained to think originality means inventing something from scratch. But the older I get, the more I realize originality usually comes from finally understanding where you came from. The stuff you thought was boring or irrelevant. Irrelevant. That's gold. Here's the part that not a lot of people are talking about. See, when you build from your own identity, you stop competing. You're not trying to sound like the trending artist or the best-selling author. You're building something nobody else can build. And that's where the money is. It's the stuff only you can make.
Yeah, well, the other advice I would give young people is that one of the tragedies of being an older person, as I am now, I'm almost 62.
That's not too old.
Well, no, it's not too old. But my grandparents are gone. My father's gone. Some of my older aunts, great aunts, are all passed away. And it's only now when you're older, sometimes as you grow in wisdom and understanding experience, that you fully understand what the right questions are to ask of your ancestors. But the tragedy is, by the time you realize that, they're gone.
If you're watching this and you still have someone in your life who remembers the stories you don't, call them. Seriously, don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you have time. Just call, because once that door closes, it won't reopen. What has been the most rewarding part about your journey for you?
It's making the connections. It's making the connections in unexpected directions. And I'll give you an example. Marie Mate Aaguay, my Algonquin ancestor, she has thousands of descendants in the United States and Canada. And so through the book and my research, I've made connections with other descendants of her, my cousins, and especially up with the Algonquin community up in Pembroke, Ontario. That's like 8-hour drive for me from up here near Boston. And I've made great connections with them, so I've met great people. I've enjoyed seeing people being delighted with the book, saying how much they've enjoyed it, what it means to them, how much they enjoyed reading it with their family. That's the most rewarding part. And I also believe that the best is yet to come with this book. I do believe that this book eventually will be either a short TV series on Apple TV, Angel TV, Netflix, something like that. Somebody's going to pick it up.
Listen, folks, this was just a small piece of this entire interview that I had with Joseph. If you would like to catch the entire interview, jump on over to my podcast, the Light-Minded Arts Podcast. And if you want to learn more about Joseph and the stories he's creating, check out the link in the description below.